What's up, gang? Carolina Jackpot Time checking in as part number 2 of my week 3 picks and predictions for the college football slate this coming Saturday/Friday. I picked 9 games to start with. In video number 1, I kind of got cut off there at the end, rudely. Rude. So I got 11 more to do real quick. I want to run through these real quick, if you don't mind. Tulane is on the road at Oklahoma, 34-point underdogs to the Sooners. Yes, I believe that Oklahoma will wear out Tulane. But last week's game was a really big uplifting experience for the Sooners. I'm sure they're hanging their hats on that one and riding with it. But after a win like that, kind of expect a little bit of a letdown. Maybe kind of a flat performance. Tulane is not a bad football team. Willie Fritz has got them playing pretty well. Last week they lost only by like 2 on the road against Navy, team that they were favored to lose to by like a couple of touchdowns. And Navy's not a bad team either. Tulane's improved. Got a long way to go, but they're running the old Georgia Southern offense, and I look for them to lose this game by at least 3 to 4 scores at Oklahoma, but I expect them to cover the spread against the Sooners in Norman on Saturday. Strange matchup. See those two playing. Kent State on the road at Marshall. Marshall's a 14.5-point favorite. Take Marshall on this one all day long. I would call this another one of my lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels picks, but I can only do 1 per week. So Marshall will definitely wear out the Golden Flashes by more than 2 touchdowns. Kent State is absolutely terrible. They're terrible. LSU on the road at Mississippi State, and they're 7-point favorites. I'm going to take LSU in this one to cover the spread. I had to go back and forth on this one a little bit, but the deciding factor in this one was Mississippi State gave up a ton of yards last week rushing the ball to Louisiana Tech. So one would suffice it to say that LSU is definitely going to take them to the woodshed on the ground. No way that Mississippi State wins this game in Starkville. LSU, they're hyped up every year. Every year, they get a bunch of hype and they don't live up to it for whatever reason. This year, I think they're for real. I had some doubts about them before the season started with this old Orgeron dude who couldn't win at Ole Miss and couldn't really win at USC, but he's proven himself down here so far in Bayou country. So the Tigers, LSU, win on Saturday night at Mississippi State and cover the spread. Georgia State on the road at Penn State. 38.5-point favorites, Penn State. Take them all day long, or all night long, shall we say, to cover the spread against Georgia State. Georgia State's terrible. They lost to a FCS team, Tennessee State. And it's a night game. Night game in Happy Valley. That's a rarity. They don't normally play night games there, I don't believe. But this is an evening game, and Penn State can win this game by 50, 60 points. Who knows? 38.5 is not generous enough. This is the one that I went back and forth against K-State at Vanderbilt, and I don't know why, but I did. Vanderbilt, For some reason, I just think this is going to be just a hell of a game. Vanderbilt's a 4-point underdog at home to K-State. Vanderbilt's looked good this year. The first game of the season, I don't think that anyone had real confidence they were going to win that game on the road at Middle Tennessee State, and they came out and totally dominated them. at Middle Tennessee. Won like 28-6. They won last week against Alabama A&M handily. Put up a lot of points. Vanderbilt's got a lot of offensive weapons back. I went back and forth, but finally I had to go with K-State to win and cover the spread. Just based on, just toughness, I think they're probably just a better all-around team. And their quarterback, Jesse Ertz, one of the most underrated players in college football. They're ranked number 18 right now. They could easily be inside the top 10 before the end of the season. So I'm going to take K-State to take the win at Vanderbilt and cover the spread, but it's not going to be easy. Kentucky at South Carolina. The Gamecocks are 6-point favorites. My Gamecocks. 6-point favorites over Kentucky. We're going to cover the spread there. Last week, we've covered it the past 2 weeks. Last week, I went against us. Didn't think we'd do it. Didn't think we'd be able to do what it took to get the job done at Missouri. I was wrong, big time wrong. 18-point win, and should have been by more than that. So Gamecocks going to take care of business at home. Willie B, first night game of the season at home. They've got a lot of stuff planned for that one. Got a lot of recruits coming in there, and I don't think we're going to disappoint. If y'all watched Debo Samuel the past 2 weeks, that guy is absolutely on fire. Heisman contender or not, I don't know about that. Based on the fact that he's gotten most of his yards just returning kicks. Okay, they don't really give you Heisman trophies for that. But he means a lot to that team, and I'm telling you, force to be reckoned with. Probably one of the most athletic players in the Southeast Conference, if not the most. Gamecocks are going to win this game by double digits. Kentucky, their cute little 3-game winning streak over us finally comes to an end. They're not very good this year. I thought they would be. Steven Johnson, one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC, coming back from last year. It just hadn't materialized. They had a close win against Southern Miss week 1. Week 2, they struggled with Eastern Kentucky, an FCS team. They're not what I think that people thought they would be coming into this year. Especially after upsetting Louisville last year, they were riding high. But Kentucky, no, Kentucky football is just Kentucky football. It's never going to be top tier. And once again, Saturday night, it will be proven why. Clemson's on the road against Louisville. The Tigers are 3-point favorites over the Louisville Cardinals in Papa John's. This is another one I was kind of back and forth on it for a while, but I'm not going to pick against the defending national champs until I see reason for me not to. They had 13 sacks last week, but 13 sacks. Now, granted, Jared Stipboloni is not exactly one of your top tier quarterbacks. A lot of that could be attributed to the fact that he's just not very mobile. But make no mistake about it, the Tiger defense is nasty, and they really came after him and laid some wood, especially in the second, third, fourth quarters. Lamar Jackson, reigning Heisman Trophy winner, probably the best player in college football so far this year. I gotta take the Tigers here just based on the fact that Louisville, I don't know how strong they are on the lines. Their offensive line, can they hold up against that pass rush from Clemson? I just don't know. I think Clemson's going to make things disruptive for Jackson. I think it'll be a good game, but ultimately, I think the Tigers are going to win this one. Louisville last week, UNC should not be anywhere near their level. That game, they won the game by 12 points, I think, that Louisville won it by. I mean, that should and it shouldn't have happened. I mean, well, it was it was a 19-point win. UNC scored late, but they were in that game up until the third quarter. That should not have been a ball game after halftime. The way that Louisville's been playing normally in the past. They let them hang around, and I'm just not sold on them. I'm not sold on the fact that they're a good team. They had a close win against Purdue, so I'm just not sold on them. Clemson. On the other hand, that they blew out Kent State in their opener, and last week Auburn. You got to give it to them. Tough opponent, and they handled them at home. So. I'm going to go with the Tigers here. I still think their best chance to lose a game will be the one that's 2 weeks after this one on the road at Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech matches up better with Clemson than Louisville does. I don't think they have the strength to get it done. Purdue on the road at Missouri, 7.5-point favorite. Missouri, the Tigers are. This is an interesting game. The last time Missouri had a Big Ten team come into their place, it was Indiana a few years ago, and that was one of the seasons that they actually won the SEC East, and they lost to Indiana that year. A bad Indiana team. Purdue's 2-0. Jeff Brom's a good coach. I don't think they're going to be able to get it done. At Missouri, they've given up a lot of points. They gave up, 35 points to Louisville game one. Last game, they won against Ohio, but still gave up like 24 points. The defense leaves some to be desired. At Missouri, they fired their defensive coordinator after the South Carolina game, and those things sometimes can give you a little bit of a confidence boost, can boost your team up a little bit. And sometimes it can have a negative effect on them if they actually like the coach. So I'm going to choose the former here and think it'll give them a boost in a good way. And we're going to take the Missouri Tigers at home against Purdue in what is a very interesting matchup between some kind of intersectional rivals there from the Big Ten and the SEC. Oregon State's at Washington State. Oregon State is a 21-point underdog to Washington State. I'm going to look for the Beavers to cover the spread there. I just don't see the Washington State being able to beat them by 21 points. It's not going to happen. They played a 3 overtime game this past week against Boise State. They got to be gassed. I don't think they're going to come out and give their best performance of the season. Utah State is on the road at Wake Forest, 13.5-point underdogs. Whoever scheduled this game, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't think this is the kind of team that's exactly going to bring a huge following out there to Grove Stadium. Mr. Wake Forest athletic director. However, 13.5-point favorites. I'm going to take Wake on this one all day long to cover the spread. I like the Demon Deacons this year. I really do. I like them. They're putting up a lot of points. I think Dave Clawson's got a good football team going on this year. Went on the road last week. A game against Boston College that Vegas has a pick 'em. I said Wake was going to win all day long. They won 34-10. Expect nothing less this week. Wake will win this game easily and by more than 13.5 points against the Utah State Aggies, who have to come roughly 2,000 miles or so to Winston-Salem to play that game. Final game of the weekend that I picked. Now, I'm picking 20 every week, so I had to throw this one in there. Round it out. Virginia Tech on the road at East Carolina. They're 21.5-point favorites. I am going to pick them to cover the spread. I picked West Virginia to cover the spread last week against East Carolina, and they absolutely demolished them. Well, Virginia Tech beat West Virginia in week 1, so no reason to think that they won't cover the spread against East Carolina also, although I do think that West Virginia's offense is born to score more points than Virginia Tech is. I still think that the Hokies are going to win this game by more than 21. East Carolina is absolutely horrible. They never should have gotten rid of Ruffin McNeil. Bad move, East Carolina. I hope y'all do something to rectify that. All right, guys, those are my picks and predictions for week number 3. We'll check in at the beginning of next week, about Monday or so, and see how I did. Y'all have a great night, and go Gamecocks. Woo!